Hi everyone, and welcome back to day 28 of Christmas in September with Stamp with Anna. Today we're going to be starting the series with our last stamp set. These are the last 3 days of this Christmas in September series, and for this set I decided to use the Lovely as a Tree stamp set. This stamp set is the oldest stamp set that Stampin' Up! Has. It has far outlived any other stamp set that's been offered from year to year. It just keeps carrying over because it is such a beautiful, beautiful set. You can do so much with it. It's perfect for Christmas, fall, spring. You can just do so much with this. And I've used it for sympathy cards. I've used it for birthday cards. Obviously, I've used it for Christmas cards. I've used it for masculine cards. You can just use it in so many different occasions. So that's what we're going to use today. And we're also going to be using the new Burlap background stamp. And I love this stamp because I love backgrounds. It's a large stamp. I wished it would have been a little smaller so it would fit on the paper a little better, but I think it still makes a nice impact. And then the last stamp set we're going to be using is the Flurry of Wishes, and we're going to use this Merry Christmas sentiment. And I decided to go with a rustic looking card because I do like that feel around Christmas time. It's warm and cozy, and you think of a fireplace and just sitting around the fireplace with the family, drinking your eggnog or whatever you choose to drink. So I thought that I would go that route with this card. And I'm doing, I did some embossing on it. The card I'm going to make today is a little different. After doing all these days of Christmas, I felt like I was kind of getting in a rut. My cards all had the same design. So as I was putting this one together and I was tying my bow, I said I need to shake this up a little bit because I feel like my cards all look the same. And they do have a lot of the same qualities because that's part of what I like and part of the design that I always come up with. And I do use a lot of ribbon. I love ribbon. But so this one, I'm going to show you how you can take the same design and just shake up how you put it on your card, and it looks a little different. So this one here is 4 1/4 by 11 scored at 5 1/2, and it stands upright. The first change we're going to make is the orientation of our card. We're going to go with 8 1/2 by 5 1/2 scored at 4 1/4, and it's going to open this way. And I'm also going to change the design a little bit. Rather than putting the tree in the middle, I'm going to put the tree off to a side, and I'm going to run the ribbon along the side just to change it up a little bit. So we also need for paper a piece of cherry cobbler, and this is the same for both designs. This is 4 1/8 by 5 3/8, and then a piece of crumb cake, which is 4 by 5 1/4. For ink we need soft suede and Versamark because we're going to emboss. Now my embossing powders that I'm using are no longer available, and I apologize for that. I really don't like to use product that you aren't able to get, but something like these you can probably pick up anywhere. This is very old. It still works great though because it's quality product. Forest Green embossing powder, and this one is cherry cobbler, and I'm sure that you could find something very close to those. So let's get started with the project. The first thing I'm going to do is bring in my background stamp, and I do like to get my background stamps on a wood block. Most of my stamps, if not all of them, are on clear blocks, but when it comes to the background ones, I like the wood ones because I apply paper to stamp rather than stamp to paper, and I know that it's nice and secure. I don't have to fuss with mounting and unmounting. It just works. So I'm going to try to line this up so that I have even fringe on all four sides. And this is, like I said, where I wish that the stamp was just a tiny bit smaller so that it would fit inside this 4 by 5 1/4. Then I'm going to bring this piece of scrap paper over, and I'm going to press really hard, especially along the edges, because I do want to get a nice image there. Now I'm going to lift it up, and there is our stamped background. But I'm not done with it. I'm going to take a quartered sponge, and I'm going to ink it up in soft suede, and I'm just going to come around and ink up the edges. Just give it a little distressed look. Not too much, but just enough to accentuate the edges of it so that it kind of stands out a little more. And now I'm going to emboss. Now, because I have the ink on this, I always feel like my embossing ink is going to stick to the background ink. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take my heat tool, and I'm just going to run this over my paper just to make sure that all of the ink is dry. The ink does dry almost instantly, but this is just something that I like to do to make sure that it is completely dry. Now I'm going to ink up my beautiful tree with Versamark. And like I said, I'm going to bring it off to the right a little bit and up to the top. Okay, and now I'm going to sprinkle my forest green embossing powder on that. Tiny bit more there. Okay, and just put this back in my container. And heat away. This is such a rich green. Just what the name says, forest green, which I thought was perfect for this spruce tree. Or balsam fir, it could be whatever you want it to be. Is all embossed. Now I'm going to come in with my sentiment, which is Merry Christmas from the Flurry of Wishes, and it's photopolymer, so I'm going to bring in my stamp, my Pierce mat, so I get a good image. And I'm going to put that closer to my tree than I did in my original card, since my ribbon is going to go along the side. Okay, and now I'm going to come in with my Cherry Cobbler embossing powder. I'm going to sprinkle that just over the Merry Christmas. This is a nice size sentiment. It's not too small. Okay, all embossed. Now I'm going to attach that to my matting layer. And there is a very tiny border around the card front. Okay, now before I attach it to my card front, I'm going to put my ribbon on it. And for this one here, I tied a bow. For this one here, I'm thinking I'm going to shake it up a little bit and just make a knot to have it be more more country-like. Right? So I'm going to make a faux knot, a faux bow. Take my long strip. This is cherry cobbler seam binding. And then my shorter one horizontally. And then I'm just going to tie this. And turn it over. And then I'm going to put a little bit of snail and attach my bow. I'm going to keep it in the center. Snip a little bit off. I don't want it to be too bulky. And now I'm going to attach that to my card front. Probably could have made my card front be soft suede. That would look nice. And I'm just going to trim these edges. I want this to be a little long. And here we have a different look to the card. I like them both, but like I said, I just wanted something that was a little different because I felt like all my cards were beginning to look the same. I was running out of ideas. So there we have it. Nice country look for a card, a rustic Christmas card. And I hope you like this. I'd be curious to know which one you like better. Please leave me a comment below and let me know. And if you have any questions about this card or any of the products that I used, please contact me through my blog at www.stampwithanna.blogspot.com. And I hope to see you back here tomorrow for day 29 of Christmas in September. Thanks so much. See you tomorrow.